Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SPEARCAST episode 2/3. I am your host, Lucas Quick.
And I am your co-host, Abel Tariku.
And today we have Mohammedan as our guest. He has been sort of the main water polo rider for the last couple of weeks, and water polo has been performing pretty well. I reckon they're sixth in the nation right now.
Yep.
So again, even though it's not a huge sport that people talk about too much, it is one of the better sports that San Jose State currently has.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you that, they're doing a lot better than football.
Oh.
That's for sure. I think they're only second to soccer. They've been one of the top teams. Like you said, they're sixth in the entire nation. They're currently 4-2, and they're currently having a very, very big matchup against Stanford. You know, a lot of teams are playing Stanford this week. Our men's soccer played Stanford last Wednesday, where they tied 2-2. Our football team will play Stanford this Saturday, and our water polo team will play Stanford this Friday, I believe.
Yeah,
if I'm correct, and that will be at home. So I know you, like you said, water polo isn't the most popular sport in the world by any means, and some people might not even know what it is. So Mo, with your coverage and your knowledge, can you give us like an explanation? It's like, what is water polo? Like, how does it work? What are the positions? What is like the environment there?
All right. Well, water polo, let's say it like this: it's a mix of soccer, basketball, and a bit of wrestling, but all in the water. It's a fast-paced physical team sport that combines endurance, strategy, and constant movement. There's seven players from each team in the water. There's a goalie and then six athletes. It's usually 4 quarters. Each quarter is 8 minutes of stoppage time. So soccer, how there's no stoppage time, this actually time does stop after exclusions or timeouts. The objective is pretty much just scoring the most goals by the end of the game. Pretty much, there's no goal limit. It's just score as many goals as you can. Positions, obviously goalkeeper. There's a center or at the 2 meter, like closer to the goal. Obviously, there's a defender. There's two drivers, and then a point. Point's pretty much the quarterback in football terms.
Yeah, the teams, like we mentioned, they've been very successful so far. 4-2, sixth in the nation by the CWPA, aka the Collegiate Water Polo Associate. Just what have you association? Oh, sorry, but what have you learned about this team overall, and what has made them so successful in recent years?
I want to say more so their defense. Their defense has been really good this season. The most goals they've allowed is 20 against the second seeded Southern California. So that was it's not really that surprising that they gave up so many goals. They were facing a really good team. But otherwise, they've kept the other teams under at least under 15 goals at least. So their defense has really been there for them, and their goalie has saved quite a bit and made some really good saves for the team. So yeah, it's their goalie and their defense that's really helped them.
Yeah, like you said, USC is a really, really good team. There are actually only 2 losses came from USC, which is currently ranked number 2 in the nation, and they lost against the number 3 team in the nation, which is Berkeley, and that game was pretty close. It was 10-12, and you actually drove down all the way to Berkeley to watch that game. It wasn't here at home, so what was that like? Because I know us reporters here at the Spear, we don't normally often travel to away games, let alone going all the way to Berkeley. So I wanted to ask you what that experience was like.
The experience was really cool. There was a ton of people in the stands, obviously, as it was a number 3 versus number 6. Like, so people will want to gravitate to that game since it's a huge matchup for both teams. And just watching the crowd cheer and then boo for San Jose State, obviously, it was a great atmosphere watching that game in Berkeley, and that game was super close. It was tied at halftime, I'm pretty sure, and I guess from there it just kind of went into Berkeley's favor more. But it was a very close game, and the defense was insane. And then for that, I guess you guys talked about going there, taking photos as well. I've done that many times before in my previous community college. I've went to sports games, covered it, and took photos. So it wasn't really an unusual experience for me, I guess, in a way. So it was just something I've been more comfortable with doing. So I was okay with doing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to that. Like you said, not only are you actually reporting, but you're also taking photos, and that's probably. I just want to know how that works because, say, for example, if you're taking photos for basketball, you're going to be on the court. If you're taking photos for football, you're going to be on the field. If you're taking photos for water polo, there's a certain part where you're not supposed to be because I don't even think you get a press room, like a press box. You mainly just sit in the stands and watch. So my question is, how do you take pictures? Are you allowed to like kind of like walk around for a bit? Do you have to get like a zoom lens in order to like take photos for that? I'm curious.
Shoot, me personally, I think in like the first quarter I was in the stands, and then like towards the end of the game I was like right on the like closer to the water, like on the like almost like the ledge, because there was a where you can get into, but as long as you like, because they gave me a how do I say it? It was like a wristband to show that I was a part of the staff, so I can like go a bit more closer than other fans would be just to get those photos. So it was, so I got a much closer vision to get those photos, but it was it was fine for me, honestly.
Did your camera get wet at all?
No,
No.
no, personally, no. It was. I think it was. They were a little too far to actually
A
like
little too far.
splash the water on my
Okay,
camera.
you were safe from the splash zone.
I would have been mad if I got water on my camera.
Oh yeah, it's like if you're taking photos, I think at a certain point, there's a certain area where you're probably gonna get splashed because
Yeah.
I wanted to go back a little bit, ask another question about the sport. Is it like relatively fast paced? Because it reminds me a lot of handball. And handball is essentially kind of like what you described water polo, kind of combination between like soccer and basketball. But instead of being in the water, like it's like on the air. Like you get like a small ball and you have to throw it with your hands to shoot it in the net. So I just want to say, like, since people are like swimming and it's all like very tiresome, is it like a really fast paced game? Or is it kind of like slow, methodical, and tactical?
It can turn into both, but it's more than likely more of a fast paced game, because you can see some like teamwork going into it, because you only have like a 30-second shot clock. So it makes you go a little more faster than you want to, but it can, those 30 seconds can feel like forever if you're like, if you're like paying close attention to what they're doing. But yeah, it's short it's a short shot clock. It's a good shot clock actually, but 30 seconds is enough for them to actually go around and get a shot off.
And going back to, like we mentioned, played Berkeley, number 3 in the nation, and USC, number 2 in the nation. You faced Stanford this week, but another team to mention is that we played the Shanghai China team last Thursday, and that was the home opener. So just, can you explain how that experience was? I heard like from you during class the stands were pretty filled up. Were you surprised by that? Just how was that overall experience as well?
Honestly, I kind of wasn't surprised because it's a really good water polo team that we have. So I was I was hoping that the crowd, the stadium would be full, because it was our home opener as well. And I guess playing against the international team kind of brings even more of a crowd than just facing off against a more like domestic team. But the crowd, it was that stadium was, the stands were full. People came out and cheered on for SJSU, and they played a really good game. And yeah, even through all the fouls that they committed, the coach, the team worked through it. We kind of brought in more of our bench in the second half, which allowed them to score a little bit more, because it was 11-2 at halftime. So
Yeah, because they won that game ultimately. I believe it was like 16-12.
it was 16-10.
16-10. And I know technically it doesn't really count because it's under like an exhibition match, but still, I don't think I've ever seen an international like team,
I was gonna say that right
let
now,
alone
too.
like a team from China, which is all the way across the continent, to come play not only like an American team, not only a California team, but specifically here at SJSU, which is completely mind-boggling. It's just like I wonder like what the process is like. It's like it's the it's like the actual like national like team that goes to like the Olympics or something.
Before the game, I thought it was their national team until I got to the game and Matt Levin notified me that it wasn't the actual national team. It was a bit of a lower divisional team for China, but it's still an international team, but it wasn't their actual national team.
Okay, because I feel like if they got like Olympic level athletes with us, I feel like the scoreline would have been a lot different. So that's what I thought because if I didn't hear about that until like after the game was over. So I saw that when we won, I was like, did we just beat an Olympic team with college athletes? It's like, dude, we're going all the way. But it wasn't the case. But it is still really, really impressive that they did that. And now, like you said, they're going to be facing Stanford. Stanford is currently the number 14. That's right, in the nation, and that's Friday at 12. So that's probably one of their biggest game. Not only because it's two ranked teams that are going up against each other. Not only is that it's a home game, but it's also a local rivalry. So I wanted to ask you, Mo, what are kind of like your expectations going into this game, and kind of how important is it for San Jose to win this and possibly jump up in the rankings?
I mean, you hit it right on the spot. Really, it's obviously it's six versus four. It's a long stated rivalry between Stanford and SJSU. It's probably as elite of a matchup as you can get right now for us. Obviously, a win for us against Stanford would probably bump us up as high as four, possibly if we win this. New rankings come out tomorrow, so we might switch off a little bit depending on what they've done. But it, it could propel us more to get a bigger ranking into maybe like the NCAA tournament. Maybe we can get invited to that, right? And that's just off wins. If we lose and if we get blown out on a loss, I don't know if we'll be able to stay at six. But if we keep it close, maybe we'll stay. It's really depending on how that game goes. But I'm expecting it to be a defensive matchup that could be a low scoring but really formidable game. Actually, watch.
I wanted to ask you about that because, again, it feels like I could be mistaken, but it feels like that we've been six for quite some time right now, and I think part of it is because we haven't been able to beat ranked teams previously yet, losing to the second best team in the nation, to the third best team, and now you have a chance to have the fourth best team. So what needs to be done in order to finally knock off a team that's a little bit higher ranked than us to get on those rankings?
I want to say try and attack more. I'm gonna say because our offense is it's good, but it's not as elite as some of the other teams are. If we can somehow manage to beat Stanford, it's a good direction. But I do think our offense needs to execute on their plays a bit more than it has.
Okay, and speaking of like their offense, obviously you picked up water polo for a while, and you probably familiarized yourself with some of the players there that you've been interviewing. Is there certain players that you're hoping to kind of take like that bigger role heading into that Stanford game? Because obviously you mentioned like the defense has been incredible, but any of like you said, like the forwards, like you said, has there been like a specific player that you want us to keep our eye on, and that might make a big impact?
I mean, from the games I've seen, there's only really been a few high scoring players that have done well. Like there's Sam Keatley, who's had so far a good season from the games I've seen. There's Samu Biros, who's been playing well as well. If I'm butchering these names, I swear I'm gonna. But I'm pretty sure I'm not. Um, but I think it's more. I wanna keep that eye on their goalie, really, because he's been playing lights out so far. He's been playing incredibly. But I think if any, I think their most important aspect would be their goalie to keep them in games.
And then not only do they have their biggest matchup against Stanford on Friday, but they also have an exhibition match against West Valley College, the community college. So for exhibition matches, do they kind of get like their guys that are kind of on the bench a little bit more to kind of go out there and like start playing? Because obviously, if you play like a big game, you're gonna have all like your main guys playing, and if you have like another match right after that, you'll probably send out the guys that are kind of sitting on the bench more and like eager to play.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting them to go for the coach to go into his bench for this game since it's like right after a massive matchup against Stanford. Stanford starts at 12, this one starts at 2, so it's like right after each other. So they did that in their exhibition against China Shanghai. He went straight into his bench in the second half. And most of their starters didn't play in the second half, but they were up by 9 at that point. So I don't know if he wanted to go. He wanted to get more the new players more wet, and get that experience. So I'm fully expecting them to go on their bench again against West Valley College. But the only thing is, West Valley College, they are a good team. They are their record stands at 10-2 right now. The two losses came against Golden West and actually Team China Shanghai. They lost to them last week. I think the score was 25 to like 14 from what I saw. But but yeah, they're from what I've heard, they're one of the best community college water polo teams currently.
Hey, that sounds kind of scary. I won't lie. So I mean, that'll be definitely something to look at. I know we have another reporter that will be reporting for that game. And lastly, I want to talk about after that game, they're going to be playing against 3 people. All these games are at home. So first they'll be playing against LMU, which is in a completely different conference. They play in the Big West. Oh no, they play in the West Coast Conference, and we're going to be hosting the Big West Invitational. So we're going to have 2 teams from the Big West, which is UC Davis and UC Santa Barbara, and both of those teams are going to be playing here. So I wanted to ask you, what should we be like expecting from playing those teams? What's that kind of going to be like playing a team that's not only like kind of like in a different conference, so you could probably play like a different play style. So I just want to know like, what's that going to be? Is it going to be like a clean sweep because they're not ranked? Is it going to be difficult? Just kind of want your think about it.
All 3 teams are ranked. LMU is 13th right now. UC Davis is 11th. UC Santa Barbara is 17th. So they're all good teams. The only it's obviously it's going to be in San Jose, except that match against LMU, which I'm pretty sure it's in
No,
Santa.
that's
No, it's
here.
Santa. Okay,
It's here.
it is here too. My bad. But I'm expecting a big crowd since it is like it's not top tens, but it's still like top 20s, so it's still like top ranked teams. So I'm expecting these games to be decently close. Maybe not. Maybe the Santa Barbara might not be close. I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure how the game will turn out yet, but I'm expecting these games to be good. They are all on the same day, so it's gonna be. I'm pretty sure they're all facing off against each other with this invitational. So I think that last match might. I don't want to do this wrong, but they're faced. It's
How it
two
works?
games in the same match. First one's Davis, the second one's Santa Barbara, because the LMU match is the day before. So yeah, we're playing Santa Barbara the second after that LMU versus Davis match happens. So I'm guessing I'm gunning for the games to be really good, be really close, but that's just you teams way too good to actually. I'm predicting us to win by quite a bit, by at least 5 for each match, but it's it's gonna be it's gonna be good matches. It's gonna be a great game. Obviously, the tournament brings it's obviously the things like 3 top teams. I already said this actually. But um, I think this it might be the biggest measuring stick invitational for the season for SJSU to try and leap more. Because if they beat Stanford, they'll probably go to 4. If we can try and sweep in that invitational, maybe it'll go up. Maybe we'll go up even more. But with how low, with how low these teams are, I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, just a lot of big time matchups going on in water polo. A lot of ranked matchups actually. That's quite impressive. But that puts a wrap to episode 3 of SpearCast. Thank you guys for listening once again, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, and if you guys want to check out any of these recaps once they do get released, check out our recaps, feature stories, opinion pieces, and sidebars. You can go to thespirit.sjsu.com to read all of that. And with that being said, thank you, Mohammed, for being our guest for today. I'm your co-host, Abel Tariku.
And I'm your host, Lucas Quick, signing off for this week. See you guys later.